Hey everyone, welcome back to Tea Time with Bev. Alright, so we, since I have Quinta here with me, she's usually so busy with school, so since I have her, we're just going to go ahead and film this video. So today's topic is African prejudice and marriage. Alright, so there's a reason why we wanted to discuss, share this topic with you, because it's something that we both have experienced, and we don't know if anyone watching this has also experienced something similar or knows someone who's gone through similar things. But before we go ahead and dive into the topic, we just want to talk about prejudice. So Quinn, what is prejudice?
Well, I would think it is pretty much having your thought or your perception above everyone else, and believing that you are right or you're correct, and so because of that you kind of treat people differently based on your perception
of them. And I have the definition also here that says a preconceived opinion that is not based on reason or actual experience. So it's pretty much where it also says an unfavorable or unreasonable opinion or feeling formed beforehand or without knowledge, thought, or reason. So it's like meeting somebody who you don't know, but based on what you heard, you start treating that person badly. But you don't know this person. You haven't had any experience with that person. But based on your foreknowledge, you just start judging them, or you start treating them badly for no reason, based on what you know. And it could be race, religion, your ethnicity, your culture. Somebody just being prejudiced against you because of your culture, where you're from, or how, whatever biased reason.
or even sex. And so men that they're like, because you're a woman, you can't do this.
You can't do this, or based on their own preconceived notion of women are weak. I had a guy who I knew, and he will always say women are weak. Every time, there won't be a time that goes by he won't say women are weak, and I was wondering what. No.
His life.
Yeah, he always says like women are so weak. He always used to make that comment. I was wondering, what does that mean? But anyway, so let's talk about our experience with prejudice and marriage. Now, this is something that we did not even know, because growing up here in the States, now mind you, I came when I was young. Quinta too came here when she was pretty young, and you're raised to pretty much embrace everybody. You're raised in a way not to judge other people, but to love other people as you would love yourself. Treat other people as you would want to be treated. So growing up, I was very open. If you watch my other video, would you marry a foreigner? I clearly stated yes, I have no problems marrying a foreigner. I'm open. I'm open to learn about different cultures, marrying to other people from different races. However, you never know until you get into it, right? Mind you, my parents never outright told me that you can't date a white person, you can't date Mexican, you can't date an Asian or Indian, or whatever. They never said it,
because technically you're not allowed to date until when it's time for marriage. That's when
so you on dates, and then boom, where's your husband? Right, that's African parents for you. So I started dating somebody who was not a Ghanaian. Hey, come see Hellfire. What? I mean, and this was, I mentioned to you that I have my mom back home. So this wasn't like my family here in the States. This was my family from back home, that I let them know that this is the situation. You cannot date a non-Ghanaian. You cannot bring someone who is not Ghanaian here. So in other words, my family wants me to marry a Ghanaian. Period. Period. Mind you, they've never met this person before. And this person also happened to be from Africa. They were also from Africa, but just a different African country, you know. But they were like, nope, flat out, no. You know, it's a different culture. Oh, this and that. No, and it was so like, I won't say hatred, but it was something that I wasn't used to, because we've never had this conversation before. You never told me beforehand. And now, boom, it's like, you can't do that. And to me, that's prejudice. Because, you know, when you come to the States or you go to other countries, you're judged by other people. You know, when I talk about other people, you're African, you come to the States, they judge you because of your accent, because of how you look like, and other stuff. But now you're telling me that as Africans, we are judging other Africans. I couldn't understand that, because if my mom has said, okay, oh, you can't marry an Asian person, you can't marry a white person, or you can't be with them, I would understand, because of course with that the culture is very, very different. But me dating someone who is also just from another African country, our neighbors, I didn't see anything wrong with that, because I feel like it's so close. We're all so close together. Naturally, our cultures are similar. The way we are raised is similar, you know. And I felt like as long as that person is a Christian, they're very respectful, have a good heart. Those are the things that to me matter,
Right.
and not based on where they're from.
Yeah. And I think being a woman too plays a lot of role into it, because if it was guys, I think the parents would be a little bit softer. Like with me, you know, one of my biggest thing that my mom, you know, talked about was the fact that, well, you're a woman, if you marry into somebody else, so you have to be, you know, a woman to that man in his culture,
Right.
in his, you know, country and all of that. So technically they're kind of losing you culturally.
Yes.
So I think that's the biggest fear.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I just think, you know, our parents need to slow down on that.
Slow down.
Because things are changing, you know, society is changing, people are becoming more entwined with each other. So I don't see why we still have to hold on to so many things like culture, because when I faced the same thing too, you know, I brought somebody and he wasn't a Cameroonian, and you know, straight out, I mean, I think my dad almost cussed me out. But yeah, they told me, no, you cannot. So you have no right. If you go ahead and choose to make this decision, you're on your own.
Yeah.
We are out. So, and you know, I'm a family oriented person, so it's just really hard as a child not being introduced, or you know, being taught or spoken to about these things, and then you grow up in a culture where everything is okay.
Yeah.
And then you know, you just get shocked. You know, for a second you're like, what is going on? Like I didn't expect this. I just knew that whoever I bring home, if the person is, you know, nice, if the person is gonna treat me well, God-fearing, you know, educated, that's gonna be fine. But it's more than that. So
yeah. And like what Quinta said earlier, that was one of the same thing my mom also said was, I'm my mom's only child, by the way, and I'm also female. So she felt like, oh, if I marry into a different country, a different culture, naturally as a woman, you have to leave to go be with your husband. You know, I can't bring that man to Ghana. If the man is from this particular place, that's where I have to go. So I being her only child, she doesn't want to lose that, or she wants that connection. She wants in-laws where, you know, she can communicate, call, talk to, because you know, she doesn't speak English too, or English is very little. So she wants someone who she can have that relationship with, or that she wants me to marry her into a family where she has that bond with them. So I understood that. However, where I was also coming from is that what she's saying would be perfect if I was in Ghana. You know, because in Ghana, there are Ghanaians everywhere. Ghanaians are the majority, you know. So I'm surrounded by Ghanaians. If I want to marry a Ghanaian, by all means, that's cool. However, I'm living in the United States of America, the melting pot. A country where, or a nation, filled with so many different people. You have people from India, from all across Asia, from Africa, all across the African continent. You have people coming, you know, from Egypt. You have people from, you know, South Africa, West Africa, East, like you name it.
That's what makes America great.
And that's what makes America great. So it's not just Ghanaians here. Ghanaians only make a portion of the people living here. The other people. Okay, so even where we are now, I think the majority, there's like a lot of Nigerians here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for Queen Tayo's West, Queen is from Cameroon, and where we are, there are not a lot of Cameroon guys. I mean, you know, there are certain places where the Ghanaian population will be a huge number, and then you go to certain places where it's very small. So it all depends on where you're at. So if you say, oh, you can't marry anybody apart from Ghanaian, then you're limiting me. You know, you're like putting the person in a box, in a sense.
Right. I think that, you know, even though we do have, you know, long-term goals of probably moving back home, retiring back home, if you are with somebody that is willing to accept that, you know, I think that the parents should be okay as well. I don't think those are the, you know, questions that they should be asking. So this man that you've brought, you know, what are your future goals? Do you guys plan on, you know, moving back home? Do you guys plan on staying here the rest of your life? And all that kind of stuff. So I think that's more important than just shutting the door. Because they are good people.
They are.
Good people. You know what I mean? Like, you come across some really good people, but you can't do anything.
I think for now, I feel where my mom is coming from. So just to be reasonable, I have put Ghanaians as on top of my list. But I'm still not gonna cut other people out, or just because, oh, this person is from here, or this person is from there, or they're not Ghanaian, so that's it. I'm not even gonna give them a chance, because I feel like that's not fair, that's not right, based on the way I was raised here in the States, you know. And like my dad and my family here, they're okay with it, and just the ones back home, you know. But that's my family as a whole. So even though I don't want to live my life in a way like, okay, I just want to please people, but I feel like as a child you have to also be considerate, because sometimes the elders, they know what they're talking about. They know what they're talking about. So if you're out there and you're going through something similar, I say pray about it. I pray. Be careful when you pray, because God is gonna hear you. He's gonna answer. I prayed, and what I prayed for, what I asked God, it happened.
And I think that's the most important thing as a child, you know, from a child's perspective with all of this is, you know, because at that moment you're upset, you can't understand why your parents are being so biased. And I think the most important thing is just to remember that you know, at the end of the day, you want it to be godly appointed. You want it to be divine.
Yes.
And if God is involved, and if it's divinely, He Himself resolves to your parents, your hearts.
Yes.
He will, you know, go ahead and arrange everything for you. So you wouldn't have to go through all the drama. Like we always talk about it, and we say when God is involved,
everything goes smoothly. Everything is in order.
You can tell, and you know, not to say like there are not going to be obstacles, but even when in the midst of obstacles, He still creates opening. He still creates solutions. You know, even you know when it comes to just even with the matter of the heart, just you know finding peace within. So you know those are some of the things to kind of watch out for.
And if you're in that situation, prayer is the key. Like we said, pray for one, and also listen to your instinct. How do you just know? You just feel within you any kind of inclination, pray about it. Take it to prayer. And if it's God's will for, let's say, this is an example, you're from Cameroon, you're from Nigeria, your family don't agree, you want to come together, or you're from Ghana, you're dating someone from South Africa, and your family is not agreeing, take it to the Lord in prayer. You know, and say, God, if this is your will, then all these obstacles or whatever it is that we're facing, make it work. Make it work. And if it's God's will, He will bring you two together. You know, but if it's not His will and you get signs that show that, okay, this is not going to work,
don't
also
force it.
Listen. Listen.
It's hard. It's hard during that moment, but you know, you have to you really have to listen.
Yeah, listen. Yep. So that's what we wanted to come on here and talk about. If you have experienced this type of prejudice, or even you're going through it right now, leave it in the comments section below. Let's start a discussion. And if you want us to support you in prayer, also let me know, and I'll be more than willing to talk to you about it, and we can also pray about it together. And if you have any other questions or any other topics that you would like to do on this relationship series, then please leave it down below. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
All right, and you have a great week.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.